Please subscribe, like, and share. It really helps us out. And of course, if you have any questions, comment below, and we will answer you as soon as we can.
Today, we are going to be doing paper 1 of the IGCSE Economics exam. Before we start, exams are governed by rules. First rule: we have 45 minutes to complete the exam, and we have 30 questions to do. This means that we have, on average, 1.5 minutes per question. Some questions will take you much less than this, some a little more. If you have spent 1.5 minutes on a question, move on. It is much more important to complete as many questions as you can. Mark the question and come back to it later. The subconscious part of your brain will be working on this question as you complete other questions. Use a pencil to do this exam. If you make a mistake, it is easy to correct it. Use a mechanical pencil, as you will not have to sharpen it. Time is your enemy during this exam. That being said, let's get into it. We will be doing the May to June paper 11 from 2020. In this video, we will be covering questions 16 through 30. Look at the previous video for the first 15 questions, linked above now. You can also download the paper from a link in the description below.
Question 16. What is not included in public expenditure?
A. Capital spending by firms. B. Interest payments on government borrowing. C. Investment in defense by the central government. D. Subsidies to bus companies from local government.
3 of these options literally have government in the description, which must have something to do with public expenditure. That leave A. Capital spending by firms. Which is the correct answer? Question 17. When is the budget described as balanced?
A. When direct taxes and indirect taxes are equal.
B. When exports and imports are equal.
C. When government spending and government revenue are equal. D. When the demand for money and the supply of money are equal.
A balanced budget is when spending and income, or revenue, is equal. That means the answer to this question is C. When government spending and government revenue are equal. Question 18. The government wishes to increase economic growth in its economy. What would not be likely to achieve this aim?
A. The central bank encourages bank lending. B. The central bank lowers interest rates. C. The government increases sales tax or VAT. D. The government subsidizes new industries.
The increase in taxes of any kind is likely to decrease economic growth. So, the answer is C. The government increases sales tax or VAT. Question 19. The government redistributes income more evenly. What is most likely to increase?
A. The incentive to work. B. The level of savings. C. The need for welfare payments. D. The rate of inflation.
So, the government has redistributed income more evenly. People on lower incomes spend much more, as a percent of their income, than people on higher incomes. This increased spending will increase D. The rate of inflation. Question 20. The table shows selected indicators for the labor market of an economy in 2014 and 2018. According to the table, what is the most likely type of unemployment in 2018? A. Cyclical.
B. Frictional. C. Seasonal. D. Structural.
The table shows that there is a growth in long-term unemployed from 1 million to 2 million. This is D. Structural unemployment. Question 21. What may directly cause economic growth?
A. Higher imports. B. Higher levels of resources. C. Higher taxation. D. Higher unemployment.
Ask any country that has discovered oil and has experienced high economic growth. So the answer is B. Higher levels of resources. Question 22. What would not be required in the construction of an index of consumer prices?
A. The selection of a base year. B. The selection of a representative range of items. C. The calculation of average wage levels. D. The weighting of each item in the index. A, B, and D are required for a consumer price index.
But the average wage is not required. We are trying to measure inflation after all.
So, C. The calculation of average wage levels.
Question 23. The table gives information about 3 economic indicators in 4 countries. What may be concluded from this information?
A. Countries with higher inflation have higher interest rates. B. Countries with higher interest rates have lower unemployment. C. The country with the lowest inflation had the highest unemployment. D. The country with the lowest unemployment had the lowest inflation.
Only one of these answers can be shown by the table. That is A. Countries with higher inflation have higher interest rates. Question 24. What distinguishes a more developed country from a less developed country?
A. Inflation rates are higher in the more developed country. B. Interest rates are higher in the more developed country. C. Natural resources are higher in the more developed country. D. Real incomes are higher in the more developed country.
Well, the first 3 are clearly nonsense. We could come up with many examples to dismiss these options.
The answer is D. Real incomes are higher in the more developed country.
Question 25. An additional 700,000 UK children and pensioners fell into relative poverty between 2013 and 2017. What might be the reason for this?
A. Direct taxes had increased, and indirect taxes had fallen. B. Real gross domestic product was rising faster than the population. C. The death rate was exceeding the birth rate. D. The real value of government welfare benefits had fallen.
The only way that this could happen is if the real value of welfare payments. This is how much that payments will actually buy.
So, the answer is D. The real value of government welfare benefits had fallen.
Question 26. Which changes usually result when a country develops and is able to provide free healthcare and good living conditions? The options are given as increases or decreases in birth rate, death rate, and labor productivity. Look at the table in your exam paper. So which option happens when there is free health care and good living conditions? The answer is A. Birth rate falls, death rate falls, and labor productivity increases. Question 27. What is a quota in international trade?
A. A government grant to encourage production. B. An administrative and technical barrier. C. A limit on the quantity of imports. D. A tax on imports.
This is a straight-up definition problem.
The answer is C. A limit on the quantity of imports.
Question 28. Many low-income countries rely on exports of raw materials such as coffee or iron or to earn them foreign currency. What is a disadvantage of this?
A. Countries have a constant demand for raw materials. B. International trade only benefits the importing countries. C. It is necessary for low-income countries to belong to a free trade area. D. Raw materials have fluctuating prices.
The real problem with this is D. Raw materials have fluctuating prices. It can be a problem for higher income countries as well if their exports are not diversified. Question 29. What is included as part of the current account of the balance of payments?
A. All government income and expenditure. B. Money withdrawn from a bank account. C. Investments in other countries by manufacturers. D. Trade in goods and services.
Again, there is only one option here that is correct. That is D. Trade in goods and services. Question 30. The table shows components of Japan's current account balance in trillion yen for 2011 and 2012. Which balance improved between 2011 and 2012?
A. Balance of goods. B. Balance of services. C. Balance of primary income. D. Balance of secondary income.
Looking at the table, there is only one column that has seen an improvement. That is D. Balance of secondary income. Thank you for watching our video. Please like, subscribe and share. And comment below so we can clarify things for you.